We're back. I've been off to get the lemonade and I found bottle green elderflower. What do you think, team?
I think it's jolly tasty.
Cheers.
Cheers, good health.
It's absolutely delicious. I love elderflower. It's nearly elderflower season, isn't it?
That's
delicious. But anyway, the exciting news is that whilst I was in the kitchen pouring the elderflower cordial into the blue and white jug, the bees have started buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. So much so that, Rachel, what have you done? What action has been taken?
I phoned Hannah, who's in dispatch at the moment, and to tell her that we think they might be swarming, and she's on her way over here right now.
This is live, dear listener. You are with us in the Wiggly Garden with 1 million bees just over that wall, swarming. And tell us, Rich, what you saw that sparrow do.
Oh, it was amazing, wasn't it? A little house sparrow leapt from its little ivy knoll, grabbed a honeybee and shot back in.
Yeah.
So, they've obviously got a bit of a taste for all things honeybee-like.
They probably taste quite
Opportunity
sweet,
knocks,
don't
I suppose.
they?
So.
Well, would they be sweet or would they be stingy?
Well, I'm kind of thinking they might be a little bit stingy.
Yogi Bear eats bees.
Yeah, he does.
Anyway.
Winnie the Pooh gets stung by them.
Listen, what I want to know about is local food and chickens as we wait in the garden for Hannah, our professional beekeeper, to wiggle her way from dispatch, which is 5.9 miles according to Heather, and according to Sooty 8.9 miles. Where he goes I do not know. We're waiting for her to wiggle her way back. So Rach, rock.
What are we going to listen to first then, Hev?
Rachel, you've got a new job.
I have. Well, when I'm not wiggling, which is now only 1 day a week, I'm working for the Campaign to Protect Rural England.
CPRE.
CPRE, that's it, a national organisation, and I'm mapping local food webs.
What the heck is that?
What does that mean? What does it mean? Well, what I'm doing is I'm trying to find out what is happening in local food networks. So I'm looking at different locations. I've been working in Kenilworth in Warwickshire, and now I'm just starting to work in Ledbury, and I'm trying to find out what people think about local food, if they buy it, where they can buy it in that town, and then I'm going to talking to farmers and producers and processors and finding out all about their businesses and the people that they work with and how many people they employ. So what, Heather? So what?
I understand, obviously, the benefits of local food, but what difference does it make if CPRE knows where the local food is? What is the object of your exercise?
Why are we doing
dear
it?
heart?
Why are we doing it, basically?
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 reasons why we're doing it. Firstly, we want to find out what's actually out there, what the value of it is to the local economy, to the environment and to local people. So we're asking questions like how many other local tradespeople does a business use? So if they use a local solicitor or a plumber or a printer, then that's all tied in. It means that there's active, healthy relationships going on there in the local economy. And we're finding that a lot of businesses actually bring people together. You know, the food that we're researching is kind of food with a face. People know where it comes from, you know, they trust the people. It's actually, they appreciate buying their food from someone that they know rather than a faceless supermarket. And we're also trying to find out if local food is better for the environment. And once we've captured all this information, which we're looking at the moment, up to about 24 locations, 24 different towns and parts of cities across England, and we're going to pull all of that information together so that we've got an overall picture of what's happening in England, and then we can go to the government and say, OK, well, this is what is happening with local food, this is how you need to support it.
Web address?
cpre.org.uk.
Good Lord.
And before you cut me off there, Heather,
yes,
the other point of the project is that we're getting local people in these towns and villages who have local knowledge about what's out there to actually go out and do the research. So by doing that, they can find out more about where their food comes from. They can talk to the farmers, which normally only celebrity chefs do on the telly, and they can find out what it's actually all about. So they'll feel more connected and have more understanding about the food that they buy and what it means to where they live.
Wow.
So we're looking for people all across England who want to get involved in this work and go out there and meet their food producers.
Well, I'll be. Could you blog it on the Wiggly blog?
I will indeed.
Thank you very much. Rich, get your hot pants on. I've seen Hannah coming through the gate. She's about to go and watch the bees swarming. See if she will pop this on and tell us what's going on.
Shall I go and see?
Yeah.
See what Hannah's verdict is on the bees getting together. Okay, well, Hannah's just arrived, shot back from dispatch, and she's going to lead me across the garden back to this hive to see where the bees have congregated. So literally there's a huge mass of honeybees swarming, they've all got together. So what's happening?
Well, the queen's in the air at the moment. They haven't actually all grouped together yet.
Wow, so the old queen has come out of the hive.
That's right, yeah.
And half of the colony, what appears to be, when I look at that swarm, I can't believe there are that many insects in a space that size.
Yeah, I would say there's probably about 20,000 out there at the moment.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
it's an
amazing.
awful lot of bees.
So they're thick on the front of the hive at the moment. There's like a little mat of bees, and they're all sort of clambering over one another here. What's the plan then? What's the old queen trying to do?
She'll be sending out pheromones, so half of the hive will follow her wherever she lands, and then they will all group together around her. And once they've all congregated, they can stay there for an hour, they can stay there for 10 minutes or a whole day.
Really?
And then they will all get up and go to their new home, which the scout bees would have found beforehand.
Really? So this
Yeah.
is all pre-planned?
Oh, yeah, they know what they're doing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they are definitely not humble creatures, are they?
No.
There's a lot going on in those little guys.
I'm just waiting to see where they're all going to congregate.
So have you any idea? I mean, if a scout would go out, and presumably it would look for a nice, secure place to restart the colony, I suppose.
Yeah, a hole in a tree, up in someone's chimney or under the roof somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
So how far away would the scouts venture to find a new place to
I
live?
guess up to about 2 miles they'll go.
So as a beekeeper, seeing something like this, is it a little bit exciting?
It's very exciting, yeah, it really is exciting.
And for me, it's amazing. It's a wonderful thing to see and be part of. It's incredible that we've picked today to sit outside in a Wiggly garden and see all this going on.
And the nice thing about it is that they are at their most gentle now, so you can stand in amongst it and you won't get stung.
Right.
Because they're just so focused on what they're doing. And they're not bothered at stinging.
I'm glad that's quite comforting.
Yes. I know, it's a bit overwhelming seeing them all out like that.
Rachel Harry's having heard it.
Yeah, she's going to risk it now.
Edging towards the hive a little bit more.
Yeah, just to prove my point
photos.
wrong, yeah.
Feature on the Wiggly blog, no doubt.
But they do seem to be quietening down, so I don't know whether they've gone the other side of the wall now.
Right.
I might have to go and check them over there.
So what will you do now if half the colony does leave with the old queen? What will their next move be?
Well, I do need to set up a nuke box to collect them in.
Right.
And then you shake the whole swarm into, well, trugs are a perfect thing.
Really?
You shake the whole lot in, you want to get the queen in there.
Right.
And then you practically pour them onto a white sheet that leads up to the beehive, and you'll see them all running up the sheet. That's technically what they should be doing, up into the entrance.
No way.
And they'll all follow the queen in there and hopefully stay put.
That's amazing. So the nuke box then, is that, so presumably that's something purely to contain the queen in and a few of her workers.
There'll be sort of 5 frames in there, and that will just keep them going until you want to transfer them then into a proper size hive.
And what's the significance of the white sheet?
For some reason it attracts them. They want to stay on that and run up into the entrance.
That's fabulous. And I mean, the predisposing factors for a day when they're swarming like this. It's obviously warmer
it's
today.
It's perfect for it. It's just got that sort of so warm today, and it's after we've had a bit of rain yesterday, and it's a bit thundery, and they think we're all going for it today.
Right. So what's the next step then, Han? What do we have to do now?
I've got to get my bee suit on a bit quick, I think.
All right, well, let's go for it.
Okay.
Wow, buzzy bees, Rich.
Fabulous thing.
Oh,
It's amazing to be part of that.
that's one of the most exciting Wiggly podcasts we've ever been part of, I reckon.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's taken 4 years to have a bit of excitement.
Does that mean that we're going to set up another hive, though? Will we have double honey?
It seems to be. It seems
Oh,
Hannah's
there
on a
she
mission
goes,
now,
look.
so
There she goes.
she's going to try and find where they're gathering so she can catch them and set up another hive.
Are you going to go bee hunting?
I think I will.
Rich,
I think
yeah.
I'm gonna. I think if Han finds where these guys are going to get together, I think I'm going to go on a mission and.
Yeah, we'll buzz off them.
Bees. Very good.
Hey,
good.
now come on, I want to know about these chickens.
Chickens.
Chicken.
Well, I think I mentioned it on my little introduction on the little recording anyway. But Richard Pike, Richard's spoken to us before, hasn't he? But he emailed me about some swallows that he'd seen and wondered if they were particularly early, and mentioned that he would like a little piece about keeping chickens. So I thought what might be quite fun is to do, because I've got a little bantam at home at the moment with chicks, it might be nice to do a little three-piecer, a chicken trilogy, and start off at the very beginnings, really. So
What are your chickens called?
I don't give them names.
Henny Penny?
No.
Leg, breast,
Yeah,
thigh.
that's right. Because, Sarah's got named one of the hens, but I try to avoid it because ultimately they're going to die and you're going to get attached to them anyway, so it's best not to get even more attached to them by humanising them. A couple of weeks ago, a gentleman called Richard Pike, what a fantastic name, emailed me and mentioned that he'd seen a couple of swallows and wondered whether it was early in the year. Possibly slightly early, but that's going back now to about sort of the first couple of weeks in April. He also requested that we did a little piece on keeping chickens. So I thought, well, the ideal scenario would be just to do a kind of 2 or 3 piece chicken series. And we can start from the very beginning. Well, approximately 4 weeks ago, I put a bunch of eggs in the incubator and I put half a dozen eggs underneath our beautiful little bantam, affectionately known as a Bantz, nonetheless. And this is Bantz number 2 because the first one we had, which roosts in a tree and got eaten by something, probably a fox. So this little girl went broody and we popped some eggs under her. Unfortunately, the eggs I put under only one hatched, and the chick died, which is a real shame. And the eggs in the incubator, even though I had something like 20 odd eggs in the incubator, I think it's just too early, but only 4 of those hatched. So cunningly I thought, well, because the timing was such that I'd put the eggs under the hen and in the incubator at the same time, took the chicks and I tucked them under the wings of our little bantam. So she had a little family to look after, and it meant that I didn't have to worry about keeping my beady eye on the chicks because they'd have a proper mum to do so. So in here, I've got 2 little black chicks and 2 little yellow chicks, and the feathers on the wings are developing already. They're just over a week old now, and they're scampering around and fluttering about. When I open this door in the morning, this little chicken ark that I built last year, they run out and fly around and they think it's the most wonderful thing. The hen's very protective, obviously you can hear her clucking away in the background. I suppose really, so as regards keeping chickens, this is perhaps something you do after you've kept a few hens for a while. I mean, when I was a kid we used to have bantams and we used to hatch all sorts of things under bantams, turkeys and ducks, and that's a funny thing, watching the mother hen go bananas as her family start to leap into the pond and paddle around. She can't follow. Well, we had some amazing turkeys as well. We had this wonderful big stag turkey called Herbert that unfortunately died. He lost his head, and Mr. Foxy came along and killed him, because in those days we had the hens used to just run all across the fields, and they were happy, but of course they were open to all sorts of attacks from Mr. Foxy Loxy. So hen eggs, they tend to hatch if you get an incubator. I mean, the most important thing with an incubator is just to make sure that there's plenty of water in there and that the temperature stays fairly constant. Most of the mechanisms on incubators to set the temperature are relatively easy to do. You turn the eggs. I mean, you can have automatic devices that turn the eggs, but other than that, you just have to turn the eggs with usually just a sliding tray underneath the eggs once at the end of each day, or rather once at the beginning, once at the end of each day. Eggs usually hatch. Hen eggs, you're looking at between 19 and 22 days, and it's usually around about 21, 22 20 days that they start to emerge, and there is always that temptation to help them out of the egg, but I never do now. I mean, I think if they get out of the egg, then they're strong enough to survive. I mean, you do occasionally, of course, get casualties. Even if they get out of the egg, then there's something wrong with them. They have a leg that they can't stand up on, or a kind of twisted neck or something, but generally if they get out of the egg and you look after them, they'll be absolutely fine. So these little guys now will obviously be looked after the whole time. I'm just going to pop this little device inside the ark. Hello, guys. Just for a moment, because Mum's slightly frantic now. What we thought we'd do with these chickens, I'll keep a couple of these because they're crosses between, they're an Australorp Sussex cross. So our cockerels will eat, obviously, but the hens, if we do get any hens, we will keep, because you tend to find hybrids are usually quite good layers, and I know an Australorp hen is a brilliant layer, and of course the Sussex are relatively good layers. You probably get sort of 200 eggs a year from a Sussex. I mean, some people say 250, but that's probably slightly optimistic. But of course the other good thing with the light Sussex is that they're an all-round bird. They're a good meat bird as well. You can hear the cockerel in the background there. He's just clucking away. He clucks and pretends to find some tasty morsel of food. It's just a cunning ploy to get the eggs or get the chickens to come over to him, and then he can mate with them. So this is the beginning, really. The chicks. In this instance, these guys are housed in a nice warm ark, which has plenty of straw on the floor. And outside the ark there's a little tray that contains both crumb and grain for the hen, crumb for the chicks. A drinker, which is not too deep for the chicks to fall into, and they can't get out. They can quite literally come to the edge of it, drink. If they do manage to scramble in there, they can easily scramble back out again. That's very important, because chicks do have a propensity to drown. And otherwise, all I do here is I simply drop the flap in the morning from the ark, make sure the food is clean and dry, and leave them to their own devices. So I'll leave this at that, and on the next episode we'll talk a little bit about keeping hens, so a pretty casual insight into the simplicity, really, of keeping chickens, because they are really quite easy to look after. Very robust birds. So until then,
if you want to contact us, you can get us on our emails: Heather at Wiggly Wigglers, Richard at Wiggly Wigglers, Rachel at Wiggly Wigglers. And if you're missing Farmer Phil, then Twitter him. He's Farmer Phil without an E. Bye from me.
bye from me.
Bye from me. So
it's a big bee. We gotta say that. Rich, that is one big bee.
That's the biggest bee I've ever clapped my eyes on.
Wow, that bee is a whopper. What is it? A Chinook? Is it?
I think it probably is.
That's full of SAS men going to do something dreadful.
Heather, we're not supposed to tell anybody that the SAS are based in Herefordshire. It's a secret.
Oops.
I've been working alongside the SAS camp all week at Stretton Seggers Primary School,
Yeah.
and all you can hear is helicopter noise and gunfire.
Really? I hope you ducked, Rich.
That's a big one, isn't it?
It's not a Chinook. Chinook's chop, 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 chop.